Alright, hello, I'm Jog, and welcome back to Oxygen Not Included. Let me move the mic down a little bit. This episode is going to be very different, as I want to essentially use this episode as a chance to kind of talk about everything that's been going on in our world. Because, while I am happy with how the last two episodes went out, especially considering how much work it allowed me to actually do, I feel like there's been a disconnect between the world and, well, myself in the videos. So I definitely use this episode as a chance to try and, I guess, reconnect, for lack of a better word. So, let's start things off. Not much of the main base, or what I call the main base, has really changed. Like, this is all still the same. Still have the ranches. I got puffs in here now, so that's cool. And they're going over here. Their slime is going over here to feed my dust caps, so I got another little food thing going on, and we've been doing pretty fun on food. Plenty of pickled meal, barbecue. I don't know how do I have an omelet? I don't know where that omelet came from. That shouldn't be the case. Especially considering all the paku fry and all the unfortunate, hatches that have just been living down here. Oh, I think I get it now. I think I know exactly what happened. I probably had an egg in here. Yep, a gulp fry. That probably just stayed in there too long, and the viability hit 0. Yeah, that's what happened. Okay. But yeah, so the most part of the base hasn't really changed. I mean, I did have to add this extra food area with some artwork. And I also put down carpeted tile, which helps against, it helps fight stress, as while they're standing on it, they get a minus 15% stress a cycle, and when they actually leave, they'll continue having that minus 15 until they stop touching the carpet. So it's not a bad thing to have, although the issue with the carpet is that it's a little bit slower for them to walk on. Now, if you look around the base, this is my little medical wing. If I actually go over to the room overlay, hospital, it needed a couple of things. Where are you? It needed a toilet, which we got, a mess table, which we also got, and medical equipment. And if I'm going to put a toilet, it makes no sense to me not to have a sink. And, well, we don't even have to have it connected. Like, we don't even have to have the bathroom running to have it work as soon as the game wants to go. There we go. Just having it in the room is enough. And I'm not too worried about disease. That's all just fine and dandy. If you look over here to our salt geyser, it is very low. Thankfully, it will be running again at about 12 cycles. However, I'm not too worried about it, as over here, with the other salt water geyser, I got a lot of brine. And yeah, I just essentially copy-pasted the whole system that we got over on the right-hand side over here. And while this is fine, I definitely want to expand upon this later on. Like, what do I got? I got 4 of them right now. Probably at least 8, but possibly even more than that. Mostly because a lot of the oxygen going from these guys is going into Atmo suits. So I talked about these in the previous episode, but just a quick recap. Atmo suits are essentially just a great way for duplicants to be able to get around the world without having to worry about heat, germs, or a lack of breathable oxygen, because it's all in the suit. As a matter of fact, using that, I was able to get my duplicants all the way down here in this 80+ degrees Celsius stuff to actually get to the petrified fossil all the way down here. And we'll be using that to get even further down to get to what is eventually the magma. Now, magma, considering how hot it is, 1600 degrees Celsius. Ooh, that's hot. But because it's hot, heat means energy, and we can easily use this magma here for power later on. The only issue is how we're going to get it. We could use pumps, but the issue with that is, well, 1, they can overheat, and 2, it can only ever get the layer, like if I just do it like this, it would only be able to get down to this tile down here, which is useful, but once the lava, or the magma, gets down to here, I'd have to deconstruct it, build another one, but I'd probably also lose the resources. A bit of a headache. Another thing we could do is use a pitcher pump. Now, the reason I would use a pitcher pump is that the 2 tiles up here, if I actually get out a block for a second just to show it off better, These two tiles right here are the only things that actually I have to worry about actually touching lava. The straw itself does not, meaning all of this down here can get picked up by the pitcher pump, but the pitcher pump won't take any of the lava heat. I would only want to put it into, say, a airtight vacuum. And, well, have an airtight vacuum that leads to the pump to essentially just pump it out. And then probably put it into a room that will be fueled by a steam geyser, blah, blah, blah. That'll be planned for later on. And speaking of plans, I do really want to try and get rid of all the magma underneath this entire layer of abyssal and also get rid of all this, like, obsidian. I would love to fill this underground with nothing more than water. I think that would be... I think it would be funny to essentially turn our hot molten core into a nice, gigantic pool. But that's, like, endgame stuff. And another thing while we're down here is the crude oil. I really don't have much plans for crude oil at the moment. I'm not worried about wasting it, for lack of a better word, because we can always get more of it thanks to these oil reservoirs and putting oil wells, which I believe are in utilities? No, that's the oil. Yeah, oil wells. We can just put those on top of these and they'll just get us more oil for the sake of water. But, what am I going to use crude oil for right now? I could use it for plastic. Why is somebody making a mess? Oh, you got yourself stuck! These duplicants, I swear to God, sometimes. But yeah, the only thing I can really do with crude oil is that I could turn it into petroleum, I could make it into plastic, and I could use it for a generator, the petroleum generator. The issue with that one is we have yet to actually hit the super sustainable, so I can't do that one yet. As a matter of fact, how far are we? We can find that one. Super sustainable. We have about 40,000 kilojoules of energy, but the issue is that we can never build a natural gas reservoir, a natural gas generator, sorry, petroleum generator, wood burner, or coal generator. So, I'm 200 cycles in, and it's still taking me a long time. And yeah. We'll get to it eventually, but yeah, other than that and using it for power, I really don't have much use for crude oil at the moment. And to be honest, I think if I'm going to use power, I'd much rather use this natural gas geyser, which will be a plan for later on. Because I definitely want to expand upon that one. I just want to make sure she survives. Yeah, she should live. She's just going to be very tired. Assuming she doesn't get herself trapped. Okay, back down to the base. I mentioned before about the oxygen that we got going on right here. The infectious polluted oxygen vent. Will be active in a cycle. Okay. Okay. I thought this thing was... I don't remember this thing... Whatever. I thought it was off a much shorter time than that, but this guy will activate again, causing this gas pump to activate, essentially pumping all that infectious polluted oxygen just to go around my base, and up here into what I'm calling my transformer room, I guess, for lack of a better word, as it'll be transforming the gases from polluted oxygen to normal oxygen. And right now I just have this guy up and running just to try and get rid of all the gases in this room. I don't have to do that, I just said I would do it just to get the thing up and running. The only thing I had to do was that I had to tell this guy to just pump, despite the fact there wasn't a lot of gas. And once this becomes a vacuum, I'll just flip it back. But yeah, these guys, essentially how the system works is that the polluted oxygen comes out, these guys take it, convert it into normal oxygen, and as it slowly gets across the room, more and more deodorizers will make sure that it gets converted. And if in a worst case scenario, if the oxygen is still polluted, it comes out this way, but hits this gas element sensor connected to this high pressure gas vent. I have a high pressure one here instead of a normal one because in a worst case scenario, if this entire room gets filled, I think it's like 2 kilograms of, 2,000 grams, shoot. Yeah, 2,000 grams or 2 kilograms of a particular gas, this guy will stop running. But this guy can go way past that. So this was just set up to make sure that no matter what, no polluted oxygen is leaving this room. And now, because that stuff is going to be, not polluted, because it's going to be infectious, I need the stuff to come up this way, where we're going to the gas reservoirs that are swarmed by gases of chlorine, to essentially clean out the germs. Don't ask me how that works, I just know it does. Same thing with the liquid reservoir. If we put Germy water in there, it'll get cleaned. And I just had to set it up to a gas pipe germ sensor. And if it's below 2, it's fine to go. And then this guy essentially activates and allows it to go. It's also connected to this guy up here, which is set to only allow everything that's not oxygen out, and so that oxygen can just go up here and join the rest of the base. I'm also going to this group of Atmo suits up here, which is going into the work of progress of my big hotbox, which is still taking forever and a day, but we are getting close. The biggest issue is probably going to be the outside areas. But as I mentioned before, I have gases going into these gas reservoirs from these 2 over here and these 2 over there. Essentially because it was taking forever from it all going on one line. And, well, if you look at it, we have not even 1 kg of gas stored. So once we actually get this room vacuumed out and I just connect these guys up, it'll just literally probably put out like 5 blobs of gas each, and then the system will be ready to go. How this system works, if you follow this one, is that it essentially is going around the base, and I have it set up to essentially release the gas at specific points. So we have a pipe element sensor here, looking for chlorine. If it's chlorine, it lets that out, keeps on going through. I have a second thing for the chlorine, even though I don't think I need it. We keep going over this way and going down. We find another one set for carbon dioxide. So that lets that out. And we got one last one up here that checks to see, hey, are you hydrogen? No? Okay, then go. If you're hydrogen, stay, and it gets put into the hydrogen generator. Which, to be honest, it's only like extremely small amounts, so it's not really doing much. Like, if you actually look, there's hydrogen in it, but it won't activate until it gets so much, and yeah. Alright, what else we got going on? The exosuit forge, which is how we're beginning the Atmo suits. I don't think there's any difference between copper and iron, so just, yeah, if you look at all that, it's all the same. Also, I think that animation is new. Like, I don't remember that. I could be wrong, though. If we go up to the printing pod, I haven't had anything really to talk about. I'm not getting any more duplicates. 24 is my max I wanted to get, and I got my max. So we are good to go. I have gotten a few of these printing pod blueprints, but I'm not too worried about them, to be honest with you. They're just like an extra thing. Oh, but back over here, what I was talking about before with my heat box. A couple of things. One, I highly recommend getting ceramic going on. You're probably going to want ceramic if you're going to not try and do what I'm doing, which is trying to make a vacuum lock. So I mentioned before, it's going to be the base over here, an oil lock, a vacuum, another oil lock, which will be set up once I put some tiles out here. I just did that to help, like, get the gas flowing. And then the hot steam box out here. So again, this room is going to be filled with nothing but heat-producing items. So, like the metal refinery, it will be using, say, if we go over to power, because everything generates heat. Hydrogen generator generates heat. Natural gas generates heat. Petroleum generates heat. Batteries themselves generate heat. The small battery is 500 DTUs compared to the jumbo batteries 1.5 K DTUs. Same thing with the transformers, they also produce heat. 1,000 DTUs, 1,000 DTUs. So this stuff will essentially just keep on making heat just by working. I think we could have it in the base, but it makes a little bit more sense to put it into a heat box and then just have like all the power go transferred out, which is also why I'm using like the heavy watt wire. This thing can like use 20 kilowatts of power that we could essentially just have set up for like, if we have like say 10 inside, we can use like 10 power transformers to have them on the outside. The only issue with that is that we want that to be made out of steel, because that 200 plus 200C overheat is very necessary. Like this copper one, if we go over to, right over here, overheat at 75. So, in a steam box, this thing will melt. And yeah, what else do we got going on? Oh, up here. I said we're going to make this a vacuum, but everything generates heat. Steam turbines are not away from that one. This one, when it actually works, will produce 4 kDTUs of heat. So you do need to cool this thing down. Even though it overheats at over 1,000, you're not going to get that high. What you will get, though, is that the steam turbine will hit over 100 degrees Celsius and stop working, because it can't convert steam into water if the machine is hot enough to turn water into steam. So what I got going on right now is a small pool of liquid water on the bottom. We go over to our plumbing overlay. I said our plumbing overlay, thank you. I got some radiant piping going out and about, and behind them are temperature shift plates. The idea is that I will be using a thermal aqua tuner to essentially cool down water, which will go out here. Okay, who's starving? You shouldn't be starving. Okay, no, you're just hungry. I was afraid someone got stuck again. We'll essentially use a thermal aqua tuner made out of steel to essentially make sure that the water up here is staying cool, so that the steam turbines stay cool, and they can just keep on running. And yeah, these guys, just like the one down here, takes in the steam, turns that steam into energy, heat, and water. The water gets converted back out into the main system, where it essentially is used to cool down the system a bit. If we get too much heat, we will need more steam turbines, but that is fine. Eventually, we will be expanding this entire system up until we hit the upper edges, as well as all the way down, until we hit the abyssal light down here, where the lava is. Now, one thing I guess we technically could do is open up the abyssal light to get to the lava, but I'm afraid that's going to be too hot. Like, I want a steam box, but I don't want it, like, destroying everything from overheating. So, we're going to take that slow. Also, because I only want, like, one specific location to actually get anything, this break right here is going to be the best spot for that. And, yeah, I'm trying to think, do I got anything else going on? Oh, yeah. I got myself a lava egg, because these guys will be great. I can't actually see that. Hold on. I think there was a lava down here that I could not catch it. Yes, Sixters. If we go over to their bio, they are comfortable with over 160 degrees Celsius. But if we can make it hot enough for them, so the comfort range of 90 to 250 and a living range of 75 to 270, they can take carbon dioxide and put that into pure petroleum compared to the carbon dioxide to crude oil. So these guys, if I decide to put in, say, if we go to power, a coal generator, which produces carbon dioxide from using coal, we can essentially use Sixters to essentially just eat up that carbon dioxide and just allow them to live down here, pretty much. And they would be happy with that, considering the fact that they love the heat. And, again, it's free petroleum. I'm not the biggest fan. I'm not, like, dying for petroleum or anything, but hey, if it's free and I can get it, why not? And I think that's about mostly everything that's been going on with the base. Like, if we go up, not much to really talk about, although I did find... Oh my god! Oh my god! I was just digging this out, because I found this just yesterday from a failed recording. We got a volcano! Oh my god! It's so far away, though, from the heat box, but oh my god! I've never actually had a volcano before. This can be great for a couple of different things. One, it's super freaking hot. So this thing could be used for, say, power, just by connecting it to, like, the steam box, or just making its own little steam box around the giant thing. Before I forget, before we do anything else, though, we're taking that in the tiles and just walling that off. Another thing we could do is actually try and use this guy and its heat to actually convert crude oil into petroleum, like, just straight out. Oh my god, because, what, crude oil at 400 degrees Celsius will convert into petroleum. And I mean, what's what we got? We could actually make it even hotter and get that to sour gas, which is a bit of a pain, because sour gas, if you can get that hot, if you try to freeze it back down, becomes methane, which will probably become a solid from how things go, but if you can heat that back up to natural gas, you can just get natural gas. And so you can literally turn crude oil to natural gas and get so much power and water out of that whole transition. You just need a lot of heat and a lot of cooling to do that, but oh my god, a volcano... Even if I don't go for that, even if I just go straight for the petroleum, a volcano just makes that so much easier. I'd have to figure out and plan out a way of doing that, but oh my god, I'm just flabbergasted right now, because I wasn't expecting to find that. I was going up here to talk about, like, the amber fossil and this spore chid that I found, which was the whole main issue about trying to get this last one. Or the fact that we got this ancient specimen, which we can give a 1k diamond for a 100k fossil, and I guess the only reason I seem to do this right now is for the sedimentary rock. That's the only reason I can think of doing that. I really don't understand why I would want fossil otherwise. Am I feeding these guys sedimentary rock? I am, so yeah, it would be a way of feeding the hatches, I guess, but, I would love to instead move away from hatches and go into shovelfuls, but I guess that's something for later on. And yeah, we're pretty much almost done here, but one last thing if you actually take a look out here, because I found this by accident. That's a vacuum. That is space. We are so close. Like the Mafic Rock, which is almost at 100C, which is also why I'm trying to get myself some ceramic, because that stuff is great for insulation. Where is that, actually? Ceramic, yeah. It's an insulator, so it's very hard to actually increase or decrease its temperature. Overheat, which is great because you want that if you're going to make yourself things that aren't made out of metal, like the metal refinery and so forth. But, yeah, okay. I think that's about it. Like, again, the main base I feel like hasn't really changed. It's just everything else around it has just been expanding, like more ranches, this whole oxygen system, the water system over there, and whatnot. And I have only actually explored 60% of the map. If we actually go back to the colony summary for a second before I end this off, if we click on this, try and pause that, thank you. This is the map. This is 60%. We still got this big patch over to the right, a little bit here, bit to the top left, and this, the top, which is, we know now, space. There isn't much left to find, so I'm not, like, really... I was not expecting to find a freaking volcano. But yeah, there's not... It doesn't seem like there's going to be too much more left to truly explore. But there is going to be a lot for us to do, especially when we hit space, because space is, quote, the end game. I'm pretty much ready to start making rockets to get into space. It's just, one, I need more steel, and two, we actually need to get up and out there. Because I've ran out of research. The only thing left for me to research right now, if I can actually hit it, is, well, more space stuff. So, solid fuel, cargo, and whatnot. And yeah. With that, I think we are good here. Unless it's something else I didn't talk about or didn't mention, I do plan on us using, trying to rebuild a second home base up to the top. When we get closer to that one. Oh, also I'm using the rock crusher right now to give me endless amounts of salt, table salt, thanks to the salt from the desalinators, which also gives me sand, so I'm not worried about running out of sand for the deodorizers. And yeah, the base is, I'm really happy with how this base has been running and going. Like, honestly, I will never complain about having a salt slush geyser or a slush polluted geyser, or let alone having two of those. A natural gas, and a freaking volcano! Oh my god. This is definitely gonna be interesting. But I am Jog, signing off. If there's anything I did not mention, or any questions you might have, please feel free to ask. As much as I don't want to, I think the next episode is gonna be another big cut. Mostly because I'm gonna be getting rid of all the gases in this room. We can actually speed things up now. Getting the gases out of this room, getting up to space, getting that all set up and ready to go. And, oh yeah, I was mentioning before I want to make another base up top. I want to have it set up so that there's going to be the main base that everyone's going to live in and eat and whatnot, and possibly have their downtime. But then there's going to be everything else outside the base, which is going to require duplicates going to Atmo suits. Like, the entire thing. Which is also... which will also be helpful considering the fact that there is an achievement for having duplicates do something in an Atmo suit for like 12 days, and considering I got 24 of them, it's very hard to actually keep track and make sure that they all do something in an Atmo suit without having to babysit them, and even that's going to be a bit difficult considering everyone going on and off of their sleep schedule, so yeah. I am Jug, signing off until the next episode. Thank you for watching, so long, farewell, and until we meet again. Thank you for watching.